It's my pleasure to present today a topic which I think will be of interest to everybody. HBsAg positive or Australia antigen positive patient or subject, and what next? I have nothing to disclose. The estimated prevalence of chronic hepatitis B in India used to be around 4%, but now the recent data says it is less than 2%, and about 20 million subjects are positive and infected with hepatitis B. If you get an acute infection by blood transfusion or needle stick injury, then it is likely that 90% of the adults will clear it, and only 5 to 10% of the people will have chronic infection, less than 5%. And if it has come from mother, it's not an acute infection, it has come from mother or is in children, the chances are that chronicity will be in 90%. So remember, from needle stick, less than 5%, but from mother or in early childhood, you may have 90% as positive for chronic infection. This chronic infection over a period of time can lead to cirrhosis in 1 in 5, and also this cirrhosis can get decompensated is 1 in 5 years or so. About 5% to 10% may develop liver cancer. So all this might need that the patient may need transplant or may die. So our worry is HBsAg positive subject, what is going to be done? So hepatitis B is a very sturdy virus. In fact, it's a survivor. It will survive for 15 years in your freezer and for 2 years in your deep freezer of -80. It will survive Delhi heat on the surface. So if the nurses, doctors have a bed which has a blood infected from a hepatitis B patient, the virus may be surviving for a week. So the cleaning of the bed, keeping the areas absolutely sterile is important. If you boil water, then also it may survive if it is not done to 100 degrees or so. It can survive ultraviolet rays and alcohol and will die with only 2.5% glutaraldehyde or maybe 95% of alcohol. So it's a very sturdy DNA virus. I'm not going into details of this, but just to tell you that it has 4 open reading frames. One of them is the Prius and surface, so it is the surface open reading frame or gene, of which you have an area called A determinant, which is your immunogenic, your antibody formation, your development of vaccine. All this is based on this. You have a core region of the virus, which is the main area. You have an X region and you have a polymerase. This is a double-stranded virus and it has one strand which is incomplete, the inner strand. Let's not go into great details. Very simply, this is a virus of DNA, double-stranded. The marker of infection or replication is hepatitis B surface antigen. A true marker of replication, in fact, is E antigen. A anti-E is generally a marker of low replication or a presence of a mutant virus. IgG against the core. Core never comes in the blood. So an IgG antibody against core is a marker of past exposure. Antibody against surface antigen is a marker of protection, especially above 10. And a marker of injury is SGPT. This is a marker of liver injury. Let's revise one more time. Infection is HBsAg and HBV DNA. Replication is HBsAg, E antigen, high levels of DNA, and IgM. This is important. Remember it. Past exposure anti-core IgG, anti-E, or even an anti-HBs. And protection means anti-HBs. So suppose somebody has been vaccinated, he will only have anti-HBs. Somebody was exposed and cleared the virus, he will be IgG positive and anti-HBs positive. So how do we differentiate past exposure from protection? Both will have anti-HBs, but this will have in addition a anti-core. Now this is a liver cell. In the liver cell, the virus comes, gets into the cytoplasm, starts to uncoat, gets into the nucleus, where in the nucleus the hepatitis B will multiply. It will be producing several small transcripts, the messenger RNAs, and one of them will be making surface antigen. Now this surface antigen, please see, has a large, has a medium, and has a small hepatitis B. So when you measure HBsAg, it is actually all three of them put together. So when you are taking it out, you will see HBsAg, and this is important to understand here, is that HBsAg, those which are just filaments or spheres sometimes may not have the DNA. So it's just pure empty HBsAg. Now some of this HBsAg goes here and it takes into the pregenomic RNA. This RNA now converts by reverse transcription into DNA. The single strand becomes double. Now this is taken and a HBsAg comes out. So a virion is produced which has HBsAg and HBV DNA. On the other hand, you will also be releasing lot of pure HBsAg without the DNA. So what I want to stress here in the beginning, that HBsAg is a marker of replication of cccDNA, closed circular DNA of the virus. While serum HBV DNA, what you measure is just measuring one part of the HBsAg and it has a DNA. And the ratio of HBsAg without DNA versus HBsAg with DNA is almost 1 to 10,000. The virus is cleared by cell death. There is no mechanism. So if your body has not cleared the virus, acute infection in 6 months, the virus will always stay. And there are reasons, and we will discuss this. And that is the importance of HBsAg. Now, someone has got the virus by blood transfusion or sexual transmission, then the adult will get an acute hepatitis. The ALT is more than 400. 95% would recover. 1% or less may have acute liver failure, death, or recovery. 3 to 5% may become chronic infections in adults. And if it is from mother to baby, 95% will become chronic. Now, when there is chronic and the SGPT or ALT is normal, you feel, oh, nothing is there. Why to worry? It's just the virus. But to go into details, even if the ALT is normal, let's say 20, 30, DNA keeps fluctuating. Every time you have a slight flare in ALT, it means DNA has gone down. ALT goes up, DNA comes down. When DNA goes up, ALT comes down. So the cell death, when the DNA goes up, the CD8s will recognize, they will kill the hepatocytes containing virus, and ALT will go up. And this occurs every 4 to 6 months. This was a beautiful paper on a very large series published by Dr. Manoj and myself. And now this is landmark. So this tells you how often should we monitor or do SGPT in a patient of HBsAg positive. Every 4 to 6 months, do an SGPT or ALT. And this is important to understand. An acute infection which comes from blood is infecting the hepatocytes. Once the hepatocytes are infected, the hepatitis B specific CD8 cytotoxic lymphocytes will identify, oh, here is the virus containing hepatocyte. HLA1 is expressed. They will kill it. All the CD8s will kill it, interferons will come, and you will have clearance of the virus. However, if the body has lost the capability, there is an HBV specific CD8 deficiency. Hepatocyte containing the virus escape now for two reasons. Your CD8s are low and T regulatory cells which inhibit the immunity come up, and your non-specific cells like NK, NKT increase. This is the state of chronic infection. What I'm telling you is the whole therapy of hepatitis B depends on converting chronic to acute. Make your CD8s robust again, and I will come to it in the end. Make your CD8s robust, and your hepatitis B should be converted into cleared. Now, there are several phases of hepatitis B reactivation or so. Let's say child is born, mother to baby transmission. SGPT is normal. Why? In the womb of 9 months, 6 months at least, the baby is exposed to the virus. So if anything which is 6 months is chronic. So now the baby, the fetus, is generally having hepatitis B for a long time. This may be contested, but generally this is the feeling. So when the baby is born, the DNA levels are high, ALT is normal, and this state continues for 5 to 20, 30 years. This is immune tolerance. E antigen positive, high DNA levels. Now, slowly as the time passes, there is a flare. The DNA levels will come down, go up, come down. This is the immune active, immune clearance stage. Then there is a time when there is absolutely normal ALT levels, and even DNA may come down, may not. And then there is a stage where you have a resurgence, immune reconstitution, you have a resurgence. So here is a stage where you can treat. Here you will have a stage where you will have high ALT. Sometimes you have a relapse, a flare. Some of them may have acute liver failure. What I want to show you is acute liver failure. When a patient comes, it is actually a reactivation in most of the time. Now, virus either will be cleared or patient will die. So this is the natural course of a hepatitis B, which is mother to baby transmission. Now, why we are talking about the DNA levels? If somebody is in this stage where the DNA levels are still high, suppose this stage or in this stage, DNA levels are high. Those people who have a DNA of, let's say, in 3 logs, 1,000 to 10,000 or so, you can see that they may develop liver cancer. If it is more than 1 million copies, the incidence in 13 years is about 15% of the people will develop liver cancer. So you have a guy who is normal looking but has high DNA. He has a 15% incidence in 13 years. Developing cirrhosis. You have no symptoms, but patient may develop cirrhosis. The incidence, if the virus is about 1 million or more, is 36, 1 in 3. So let me summarize this part of my presentation. Hepatitis B, if it persists, body cannot clear by its CD8 for more than 6 months, will become chronic. Anybody who has a DNA of 3 logs or more increases the risk of developing cirrhosis or cancer. HBV clearance is immune mediated, CD8 mediated. HBV of more than 3 logs has a high risk, as I said above, and E antigen negative patients, you can follow them every 4 to 6 months for a flare. E positive with raised ALT, we will come separately. So we have understood little bit about the virus. Let's assess the age of the virus, extremely important concept. In 1987, Professor Nayak at All India Institute had screened 8,500 females, and he said the transmission generally is horizontal. We found that transmission is generally mother to baby. We found at that time also, in fact, this is the basis of some of the reports, that 1%, 1.1% of the mothers are positive. Even if the DNA level is low, let's say 10,000 copies, 1,000 to 10,000, 2/3 will transmit. 71% of those who transmit and have high DNA, less about 10 raised to power 5, 100% will transmit. And in India, transmission is mother to baby. How do we say that? This is a study done by Dr. Satpathy. We picked up children. I hope pediatrics people may comment on this. 116 hepatitis B positive children, and we screened their mothers. 74% of the mother had one or other marker of infection. So HBsAg, marker of infection and some replication, anti-E, marker of prior exposure, IgG to core, prior exposure, anti-HBs, prior exposure. Another study, 476 patients were taken and their mothers were screened. This was children, this was adults. 42% mothers were hepatitis B positive. And 72% had one other marker. So HBsAg may be negative, other markers. So even in adults, 72% were having mother as a positive marker. So how do you age the virus? You have a patient or a subject, you test the mother, and if the mother is positive, you can say, oh, age of the patient is age of the virus. He's 30-year-old, virus is 30 years old. And what do we test in the mother and other siblings and the spouse? HBsAg, anti-core, total, or IgG, anti-E, and anti-HBs. Why I'm telling you this again and again, aging of the virus is the most hottest area today. This is to show you, this is the time of birth. This is HBsAg, and this is the DNA. As the time passes by, the HBsAg levels will come down and the DNA levels come down. It has a huge relevance. The relevance is, firstly, that the virus and the DNA persist. They are all the time making you like susceptible to develop cirrhosis or liver cancer. So don't think it is inactive. It is active but not visible. Now this is a new concept. This is at the time of birth. You have many HBsAg specific CD8 T cells, but they can't work. But there are a lot of cells which are against the hepatitis B hepatocytes, and these CD8s are present in plenty. As the age goes up, these CD8s are exhausted. There are no more CD8s. They cannot clear. They have given up. Now, this is a beautiful paper. It's not complicated. This is the age here. This is the age group 3 to 14. This is 55 to 75. Now, these are CD8s. Now, CD8 against hepatitis B surface antigen is present in about 33 to 48%. And now, as you go by age, by the time it is 50 years, it is 3% and even less. So your CD8s, which are specific for hepatitis B surface antigen are exhausted over time. So I'll summarize this part. Mother to baby transmission is the commonest. 3/4 in India at least are mother to baby. We have to age the virus, and it has many relevance in management. And HbA/AG specific CD8 slowly decrease because of their exhaustion. So question is, what next if you have a patient with hepatitis B positive status? I told you about the HbA/AG, which is transcriptional replication of virus, which is CCC DNA, closed circular DNA in the nucleus. So one more time, when you are doing HBV DNA, it means you are doing DNA plus hepatitis B surface antigen. This is one viral particle. It has a DNA inside, surface antigen outside. When you are measuring quantitative HbA/AG, what all are you measuring? You are measuring this. Let's say the viral load is 10 raised to power 5. Log means 10 raised to power 5 means 1 lakh copies, just one less. So 1 lakh, remove 1, all these zeros. So that is 10 raised to power 5 logs. So 10 raised to power 5 DNA, 10 raised to power 5 HbA/AG plus DNA. But there will be many more which are just HbA/AG but no DNA inside. Or you may have defective HbA/AG. So measuring quantitative HbA/AG, quantitating HbA/AG has a greater relevance just doing HBV DNA. Now this is important. Somehow this has moved out. Now the number of particles produced are 10 raised to power 14 HbA/AG. DNA is 10 raised to power 9. Empty virions are 10 raised to power 11. At least you have several thousand or million times more HbA/AG than HbA/AG plus DNA inside. This has a relevance in diagnosis. And what does it do to the body? Now this is an infected hepatocyte. It has the viral transcript CCC DNA. It makes several things. It makes your HbA/AG massive production. HbA/AG and subviral particles are produced. See the amount. Now some of them contain DNA. This is the infectious, but some of them have DNA, some have nothing, just surface antigen. You have E antigen, which is produced, which is another. Now these viral particles with DNA will go back into the cell and the cycle continues. You produce, you infect the next cell, this continues. But remember that subviral particles which are having HbA/AG with no virus are produced 10 raised to power 5 or 6 times more. We'll come to it again. So let us summarize. HbA/AG reflects CCC DNA, the viral transcript. More HbA/AG, empty and subviral particle than complete virion, and this exhausts your immunity, the cytotoxic T cells. So now what do? We have assessed the virus. Now let us assess whether there is a disease. We have aged the virus. We have found the type. Let us assess the disease and the inflammation the virus has produced. How do you do it? So subject comes, he's healthy. He's just given his blood. In the blood bank, they say, oh, you are HbA/AG positive. What do? You will do an inflammation, SGPT or ALT. You will assess the fibrosis. Today, ultrasound, a CT sometimes, but a simple fibroscan can tell you. You can also use biomarker like a FIB4. It has 4 elements. Anywhere in the periphery you can do age, platelet, AST, ALT, and you can get a FIB4 calculator on the net. You can also do the ELF, the European fibrosis markers, or a fibro test. Sometimes you may need a biopsy. We will come to it in a minute. This is a patient, a fibroscan. We do about 16,000 to 18,000 fibroscan, which is a mode ultrasound, low frequency. It tells you. Now, normally the sound comes in 60 milliseconds. It's a soft liver. Faster the sound returns, harder the liver. So if your fibroscan is 8.5, it is coming in about 40-45 milliseconds. A stiffer liver. It also shows you the attenuation, controlled attenuation parameter, attenuation of sound. This tells you about fat. Anything above 290 means 30% fat. Anything above 8 means stage 2 fibrosis. Fibrosis is significant if it is above 8, remember it. Now, this is the European guideline on how do you manage. A normal bilirubin, healthy guy comes, but SGPT or a normal SGPT, ALT. If his ALT is normal, then between 6 and 9, also he may have a problem. He may have fibrosis. Only less than 6 will be good. If he has an ALT 2 to 3 times raised, a LSM, liver stiffness, between 7.4 to 9 is considered significant. Why I'm telling you this, such a patient needs a biopsy. 50% of the gray zone, this is the gray zone, they will have advanced fibrosis above, equal to, or above 2. So what we have taken in the Asian guidelines is anybody who is LSM of 8 or more should have a liver biopsy. Inflammation, I told you about ALT, but this is very fallacious. Higher ALT means there is a activity, liver injury is on. And it also shows greater immunity and low DNA. It is better. But normal ALT does not exclude disease. And this brought us to the term incidentally detected, asymptomatic, HBsAg positive subject, IDAHS. If you call it carrier or you call IDHS. Let us see what is good. So this study was done in about 1,500 odd patients, of which E antigen positive were 73. And for 1 year, they have normal ALT, 20, 25, 18, like that. Young people. Imagine their DNA. They were 60% had high DNA. They can develop cirrhosis or liver cancer. And if they have sometimes in 1 year, 1 or 2 times ALT goes up, flare, then you can see that their DNA was in 3 out of 4 high levels. Now, they could be E positive or E negative, I told you. If they are E positive, F2 fibrosis, F3 fibrosis, F4 fibrosis, 40%. Even in E negative, which is considered low replication, you had 1 in 5 had F2 fibrosis. So what I want to drive home is patients with normal ALT may still have significant fibrosis. So I hope the message is clear. Normal ALT does not exclude that fibrosis is there. So this is the important part of that paper, that F2, F3, F4 fibrosis, 40% of your asymptomatic hepatitis B subjects with normal ALT have hepatic fibrosis. This has been shown in several studies that what people call as inactive carrier means they have no ALT. ALT is normal and DNA is low. Even they have higher risk of liver cancer and deaths. Another important thing is, suppose today that person has very low amount of DNA, less than 100. Over 5 years, 9% the DNA will go up. But suppose his DNA is just about 2000, not very high, 3 logs. There is a chance that 1 out of 4 will have a flare in 5 years. With this message in mind, you have to remember HBV DNA is like dynamic. It's a state. Sometimes your immunity is good, you clear more DNA. Sometimes it is low, then you don't clear the DNA. So this is a problem. The DNA levels will remain high. Now, suppose somebody is immune tolerant. Immune tolerant means, as I showed you, normal ALT. And you don't treat them. People are not treating them, no guidelines. So this is the immune tolerant and this is immune active. There is a 10-year group. Immune active means these patients were having ALT high and they were treated. Who develops more liver cancer? We thought immune tolerant, nothing will happen. Immune tolerant has more development of liver cancer, more liver related death as compared to those who have high ALT but got treatment. So the message is immune tolerant are at risk of developing cancer and death. So now the basic question is, inactive hepatitis B carrier, is he or she really healthy? We just say carrier and we forget it. Oh, he is hepatitis B positive, don't do anything. So who is a carrier? By definition, a carrier is a person who carries the virus. He can transmit to the other person, but himself or herself has no disease. Now here, your person has virus, he can transmit, but also has the disease. Therefore, is he healthy? Should we use the term carrier? And we started this campaign in 1995. 99, we had the first publication in the world saying this term carrier is misleading and it should be replaced by chronic hepatitis B virus infection. And I'm very happy to say in 20 years, both several publications, now European, American, and Asian guidelines have discarded the term carrier and used the term chronic hepatitis B infection. In epidemiology, it may take time, but the word carrier gives you a feeling of everything okay, which is not true. What is a flare? I told you some people will have ALT going up and down. If the ALT goes more than 5 times, then it is a real flare, may or may not be with jaundice. And this is reactivation of the virus. There are several causes. Spontaneous, body wants to clear. It has got strong CD8 sometime. We'll come to it. Antiviral therapy. He was on tenofovir, entecavir. Somebody said, 3 saal le liya, band kar do. Band kiya, and you get a rebound. Or he's on, but he has got resistance. This is known with entecavir, little 1%, not with tenofovir. Mutants will come up. Or very important, we have forgotten, you treat for hepatitis C and the patient develops active hepatitis B. Somebody had both the viruses, C has suppressed the B, but after some time, the B comes up when you have the clearance of C. Or patients, like especially our colleagues in oncology, are giving steroids or rituximab, hepatitis B, which is silent, can come up. So flare or reactivation has to be remembered. So one is ALT and one is DNA. Patient has come to us with jaundice, bilirubin of 25, high AST, ALT 1500, high INR, is admitted to ILBS ICU, acute liver failure. The question is, does he have ALF or has reactivation? How do you differentiate? This was also done long ago, and we published with Dr. Manoj together. Hepatitis B DNA, if it is more than 20,000, it indicates this is reactivation. Why? In acute liver failure, cells have died. If cells have died, there should be no DNA. Therefore, in severe acute hepatitis, cell death, clearance of the virus. While in reactivation, more and more cells are getting infected. Normally, hepatitis B infects about 10% of all liver cells. But in reactivation, nearly 100% of cells are infected, one from the other to the other. So there is much higher DNA level and body is unable to clear. So single test high DNA in a patient who is presenting as acute hepatitis or ALF, this is reactivation. Therefore, you should treat, if possible, do a biopsy or exclude underlying chronic liver disease. So let's assess this part. Incidentally detected asymptomatic HbS-Ag positive subject is a better term, or chronic HBV infection is a better term. Don't just use healthy carrier, chronic carrier. ALT, 60% of normal ALT people have high DNA. 40% with normal ALT may have fibrosis significant and increased cirrhosis and HCC. The term chronic carrier is misleading. Avoid. Reactivation, high DNA, flare is ALT more than 5 times normal. So we have assessed the virus, aged the virus, assessed the disease. Now HbS-Ag positive subject has come to you for getting a certificate. Sir, मैं बाहर जा सकता हूँ, मेरा visa नहीं लग रहा है, we'll come to it. Or do I need treatment? All right. What is the basis of treating hepatitis B is visible in 3 simple phenomena: amount of virus, inflammation, stage of fibrosis. If you count, there can be more than 500 variations in the cases. Somebody is HbS-Ag positive, E antigen positive, normal ALT, raised ALT, E antigen is negative, mutant, raised normal ALT. So you may have multiple scenarios. I will discuss 4 broad scenarios. An HbS-Ag positive subject, and what do we do? First, E positive. So this is as per Asian guidelines. HbS-Ag positive, E positive, has high DNA, that is 20,000 or more copies, and has ALT which is high. No need of doing anything except assessing fibrosis, but you treat. Don't wait. Now he has not more than 2 times. He has, let's say, 80, 70. What will you do? Should you treat him or monitor? Very few will monitor. That's why asterisk, some guidelines say most of us will just do one more time. And if again the ALT is high, just not one time. Suppose he is obese. Suppose he has NAFLD. Suppose he has taken some Ayurvedic drug. Wait. Exclude other causes. Still, if the ALT is high, persists, and age is above 35 or there is a family history, definitely start treatment. These are easy groups. The difficult group is low DNA or low or in between moderate DNA levels. In them, ALT levels are not so important. What is important is fibrosis. If your FibroScan says liver stiffness is 8 or above, or by liver biopsy you have 2 or more fibrosis, treat, don't wait. Now, this is a slide which has not come out so well. I'm telling you the relevance of HbS-Ag for stopping therapy. Now you have started therapy, how long? All therapies are lifelong. Once you start, 30, 40 years, you can't stop. Can HbS-Ag help you in stopping? Yes. This very recent study shows if HbS-Ag is less than 100, then there is a possibility. So those who have less than 100 HbS-Ag and you stop therapy, you might have a benefit. Relapse is very, very low, less than 50%. Why I'm connecting these two is from here, a 25-year-old man needs antiviral for 40 years. So you do quantitative HbS-Ag. If it has come less than 100, you have a possibility, and after 3 years, you can stop it. This is the most important and exciting part of HbS-Ag. HbS-Ag, I showed you in the beginning, is made up of a large, a middle, and a small particle. 3 types of particles. Do they have relevance in viral clearance? Now, this is time today. Minus 5 years or 4 years. Okay, 4 years ago, before you stop therapy, you do HbA1c. 3 types. One you do total, but you can do large also here, or you do large and middle. Now you see that over a period of time, the large comes down and middle comes down. What is important is the middle HbA1c. The middle molecule HbA1c is a very good predictor. If you do it a year, 2 years before, it is important. What is the relevance of middle? The large HbA1c is important for entry into hepatocyte. It is the one which gives you all the immune reactions, but the middle molecule of that is not so immunogenic, but is a replication reflector. So if your middle molecule has come down, and it is flat, it will predict you. So now new tests are being developed which will just give you middle HbA1c. I'm not giving you small, relevance is doubtful, but it will be more sensitive, I think, than even middle molecule. So let us understand HbA1c is something which is going to be in the scene longer than HBV DNA. Now this is a work which we did with Dr. Nirupma. Here is a person who is E antigen positive. At baseline, this patient had a DNA, like you can see this, 10 raised to power 8 in trillions. Now, the patient was given tenofovir. On tenofovir, DNA comes down. What also comes down are the T regulatory cell. I told you, because of high Tregs, chronic hepatitis B stays. Virus cannot be cleared. You have to remove Tregs. So giving tenofovir decreased DNA, also decreased Tregs. But what is interesting is it increased your CD8. The CD8 numbers increased from baseline almost 4 times. So you are doing an immune restoration. Decreasing DNA, decreases Tregs, increases CD8. And this is the basis of viral depletion and immune restoration. These are new concepts. This is a new drug, not in the market, RAP2146. I have shown you this diagram. This diagram showed you that in the hepatocyte, lot of surface antigen and subviral particles are produced. Now, all these are taken by the body's CD8 as, oh, it is hepatitis B. All CD8s will go here, they will go here, they will go here, and they will exhaust. So what are you doing here is actually exhausting your CD8. This is 4 log more than this. So what this drug RAP2146 does, it's actually a polymer. It binds, it removes all the surface antigen. Now you only have few amount of virions with DNA, but all your extra HbA1c is gone. What is the relevance? This beautiful pilot study. When you have given RAP2146 here, only in period of about 6 months or so, even less, I guess, 6 months, 24 weeks, 0 out of 20 had HbA1c. All of the HbA1c was removed. And in 6 months plus follow-up of 2 years, you can see that viral clearance could be achieved in a large number. So HbA1c goes away, and HbA1c goes away, and the DNA, gradually the virus disappears from there. This is a new method of removing HbA1c and restoring your immunity. I have shown you this, normal ALT, HbA1c E positive. Now, I'll just briefly touch these scenarios. A decompensated cirrhosis, don't need to measure DNA. HbA1c positive, treat. Compensated cirrhosis, treat. Reactivation of hepatitis B like ACLF, there is a flare, treat. All these are treat worthy. No need of doing more tests. This is a very interesting work which we did about 2 decades ago. People would come and say, सर मेरा तो SGPT नॉर्मल है, हेपेटाइटिस बी है, सर मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ पर मुझे वीजा नहीं मिल रहा, सर मैं प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर पा रहा, मेरे को कह रहे हैं ब्रांच चेंज कर दो. What do you do in such people? So we started people who have normal ALT, so-called immune tolerant, young people, and had high DNA. Those days only lamivudine was available. We gave lamivudine for just 4 weeks. What it did was it decreased DNA. Then we stopped lamivudine. So now you stop, there will be more viral production. Viral production starts and ALT starts. So this is now in a way immune restoration. Th1 cell response came. Within few weeks time, we were able to have a high ALT. Now what is high ALT? This guy had an ALT of 12 or 15. His ALT became 45. This is 3 times. This is good enough for us to say, yes, you can restore. With this, we were able to convert non-treatworthy. Why non-treatworthy? Normal ALT, no drug works, just decreases the virus. You can't clear. So non-treatworthy were made treatworthy. 1/3 of them lost E antigen, became anti-E positive. This is an experiment of LAM pulse therapy. Now we have used it in Dr. Karan's thesis, another way of pulse therapies. These are, I wish, more areas for be picked up. But immune tolerant can be made immune active. So I'm coming to the relevance of HBsAg in treatment. It helps your viral replication monitoring. Very important. When the DNA is negative, you do HBsAg because it is 4 logs higher. So DNA is negative, HBsAg is 4 logs. Oh, treatment has to continue till it is 100 copies or less. I showed you middle HBsAg detection can predict relapse. And of course, likely clearance. One more time, HBV infection can present with more than 500 variables. There is not one guide. We have to read every day, learn every day. Let's say this case, 30-year male resident wants to go to US. Routine health checkup, his hepatitis B positive. His crestfallen, his life is gone. He can't go to US. What do? His ALT is normal. He's E positive. He has got it from his mother. That's why E positive. DNA is high. A fibroscan is 7. The question is, will you do a liver biopsy in him with a normal ALT? I leave it to you. I can't see people I would have asked, but yes, he needs a liver biopsy for 2 reasons. One, he is a doctor. What is his liver? Second, what is his stage of fibrosis in 30 years? And does he need treatment? No questions, he needs treatment. He has to be negative. Second case, he is a diabetic. He is also routine checkup hepatitis B positive. Now he has a high ALT. Is his ALT high because of diabetes or hepatitis B? We don't know. He is E minus. He is a mutant or he is low replicative. It is seen here, only 890 copies. He doesn't have too much of 8,900 copies. It doesn't have too much of the virus. Fibroscan is 10.4. So part of his fibrosis is diabetes, part is hepatitis B. Does he need a biopsy? Maybe it will help you because of cirrhosis can also be there. We have to treat? Yes. Third case. Here is a 57-year-old man. These are live cases. Post-chemotherapy, came with pedal edema, icterus, surface antigen positive, E negative. His albumin is 2.7, bilirubin is high. He has a total flare. This is a reactivation. Do you need a DNA? Yes, but without waiting, you start therapy. Sometimes you don't have to wait. Start treatment. This is one case, start treatment. So HBsAg and its treatment, fibroscan 8 and above, ALT 2 times, no questions asked, treat. Monitor HBsAg even when DNA is negative. Reduction in large sorry, it is not large, it is medium HbA1c is predictive, and treat reactivation ACLFB without waiting for more results. Now, this is an important slide given by Mark Genney from the US. It's not published. Impact of follow-up on chronic hepatitis B. Now, about 400,000 people were there. Regular medical checkup was advised. Compliant were only about 94,000, 23%. Others didn't come for compliance. Those who came for compliance versus those who do not, you can see that the treatment was curative. They was able to reduce liver cancer risk of death by 44%. Simply, the hazard has decreased to half. So request all clinicians must tell their patients to come for regular follow-ups. Now, just one slide, it's not complicated. Just this is a hepatocyte. Now, what are the new drugs coming? You can prevent the entry. This is the nucleus. You can prevent the replication of the virus by inhibiting cccDNA, closed circular DNA formation, its destruction. You can silence it. You can also do a lot of RNA interference work here. You have polymerase inhibitors, some of them we are using now. All your nucleoside analogs are working, converting RNA to DNA. These are here. We are inhibitors of nucleocapsid assembly. We are working on this, so capsid inhibitors. There are several of the drugs I showed you, viral protein HbA1c secretion, inhibitors of HbA1c release, and of course, new drugs which increase your immunity. These are long ways. Now, suppose somebody, the prevalence is about 1.6 to 2% of hepatitis B. So it's expected in 1,500 people at ILBS, you may have 20, 30 healthcare workers who are positive. I just want to explain this. HBV DNA levels are very high in blood, in serum, and wounds. All surgical residents and colleagues, remember it, almost same. Saliva has just 1 log less. So if blood has 10 raised to power 5, saliva may have 10 raised to power 3 to 4. Semen and vaginal secretions do also have this. It is low in breast milk. So what are the policies for a positive healthcare worker? He's just HbA1c positive. So what we need to do is, if he's E positive or has high DNA, he should himself restrict doing exposure-prone procedures where you can be exposed, your blood can transmit to the patient. 5 countries have guidelines, India doesn't have. What CDC says, you put that person, doctor, nurse, technician, on treatment. If the DNA is negative, fantastic. If not, less than 1,000, he can do EPP. If DNA is low, I generally do an assessment of liver disease and say that any liver disease is there or not. And then you can say, yes, your liver is healthy, you have no DNA. This is important, very old slide of 2001. Cardiothoracic surgeon, obs gynae, general surgeons, they will report a needle stick injury after 1 month. Many of them will tell you up to 1 year or so. So people get needle stick injury and they do not report. And this was London, not India. So if you have a needle stick injury, inform. ILBS is a policy. These are my last few slides, ILBS protocols. If a subject or a patient comes who is HbA1c positive, first determine that it is 6 months or more. If it is less, you have old reports, you can check it, he got it from somewhere else. He was positive 5 years ago, okay, then it is chronic. Then assess the virus. First thing is age the virus. Has it come from mother or it is horizontal? Is it a wild type virus? I didn't go into details. E plus or E minus. E minus is a stop codon at 1896. Then you quantify the DNA. All this is part of virus. DNA, then you do quantitative HbA1c. All this is the baseline. Now, is there liver inflammation? ALT can be raised or normal. At ILBS, unlike any center in India, normal ALT for males is 30, for females is 19. Everywhere it is 40. And this is what we are following is the US guidelines. In fibrosis, assess whether there is any fibrosis. So liver stiffness by FibroScan, if it is 8 to 12 or maybe 14, biopsy is required. If there is a suspicion of cirrhosis by CT, ultrasound or LSM, then do alpha fetoprotein and all other assessments of portal hypertension. Treatment, yes. ALT normal right now we are not treating. LSM less than 7 we are not treating. We are following them every 6 months. This is wrong, but we are doing it. If the ALT is 1.2 times normal, and if we are taking 30, if 48 is there, something like 1.5 times, then I think treatment can be done. F2 or more fibrosis or any cirrhosis, treat. Once there is a DNA negative, monitor by quantitative HbA1c. Reactivation or acute hepatitis B. If the DNA is high, it is generally reactivation. Well, we are getting into by drugs like tenofovir and entecavir and a finite therapy of PEG interferon for a year. I strongly recommend that patient's mother, if alive, or SIBS, if available, and the spouse be screened for aging the virus and spread. HbS-AG, anti-E, anti-COR, anti-HbS. You will pick up 18% of the people will have HbS-AG in the family. So there is one index and one more. One index and another person. So that's how you will be able to detect and remove the hepatitis B positive. There are several research areas. I tried to make it very shortly. I think we need to see, this was the work of Abhishek long ago, about 7 years of work. If there is a more than 0.5 log reduction in HbS-AG per year, it is good, but it doesn't occur. How can we achieve more HbS-AG reduction? And can we develop new tools? Dr. Ekta, Dr. Vikas, all others, can use middle and small or large HbS-AG quantifications. I have been requesting Ankur and Manoj to start protocols on treat all, normal ALT, but treat, because these people, reduction in liver cancer will occur. Mother-baby transmission, we are working for almost 20 years, but still know little. Nirupma and her group is very active in this. We have hepatitis B core-related antigen. We need to assess it more. HBV reactivation is a beautiful example of studying hepatitis B from beginning. Several PhD students are working, but it is not enough. You need linear, regular blood sample to see dynamicity of the immune system. Occult hepatitis B, an area neglected, but often seen, especially in post-transplant scenario, and many, many more areas. Hepatitis B provides you huge opportunity of work. Our policies include everyone who joins ILBS must get vaccinated, and immunization is tested as per the virology labs by anti-HBS. Non-responders get boosted. So please ensure 100% of us are immunized. Needle stick injury, there is a complete protocol on our website. Immediate reporting. This is the social part of the work. Hepatitis B positive subject or a healthcare worker. We have empathy campaign, empowering people against hepatitis. These people are stigmatized. So many residents in prestigious institutes like AIIMS were asked to leave surgery and do a non-surgical procedure. And I had to fight in Navy, in Army. So this campaign, no stigmatization, no marginalization. My last few slides, I wish I could see all of you. How many of you are immunized against hepatitis B? Immunized. Vaccination is not equivalent to immunization or protection. Please check your antibody. Antibody should be more than 100 in my mind, because over 5 years it decays. Non-response in doctors is 7%. Physicians are best when they have highest anti-HBs. So make sure your anti-HBs is in 100. So you're very strong. Then you don't bother. Treat every patient as hepatitis B positive. But you have antibody, you can operate, you can do anything, unlike corona. So this is my last slide. I have summarized many times, but one more time, HBsAg positive, don't use the term carrier. It is a chronic infection, goes on. Incidentally detected asymptomatic HBsAg positive subject IDHS, we write to remove the stigma of writing hepatitis B carrier. IDHS is anybody who is asymptomatic. Try to age the virus, assess the fibrosis, assess the inflammation. Possibly we should start trials on treat-all. Right now it's not recommended. We can diagnose reactivation. Often we need a biopsy, and nukes should be started. HBsAg, the title today was just to emphasize this has come back in a big way. It is a decoy. Remove HBsAg the way you want and restore HBV specific CD8. Therapies are lifelong. Viral load reduction. As I showed you with tenofovir, CD8s will come up. Monitor DNA all the time. And if DNA is negative, then HBsAg. Less than 100 particles for 3 years, you may stop therapy as of now. You have to monitor for HCC and immunization, and of course have empathy, because you can't choose your mother. If it has come from mother, what can you do? You're born in a family where mother is infected. Mother got from her mother. So have empathy for all those. Don't look down on them. Treat them, give them all job and social status. Thank you.